Hi guys and welcome to another video. So obviously I'm not perfect and I make a lot of mistakes. And I also made a lot of mistakes in Pokemon. And when I say I made a lot of mistakes in Pokemon, I don't just mean while playing one of the games. This will also be some facts I thought were right about Pokemon but turned out to actually be wrong. And most of the mistakes on this list I did when I first started getting into Pokemon. Like more than half of the entries on this list are actually mistakes I made while playing my first main series Pokemon game, Pokemon Moon. But there are also some mistakes on this list that I sometimes even do to this day. And with that said, let's just get into the list. Believing that the Arbok evolves into Survivor. So I made this mistake before I started playing any of the main series games. Because I first started playing Pokemon Go. Then I started watching the anime, and I watched through the entirety of the anime that was out at the time, and all the movies that came along with it. And only then did I start playing the main series games. So while I was watching the whole section of the anime, there was all those mid-episode questions. And I don't remember whether it asked which of these Pokemon does Arbok evolve into, or which of these Pokemon does evolve into a Survivor. But it doesn't really matter, because the answer to the question was that Arbok evolves into Survivor. And looking back at it now, it was obviously a very dumb mistake made by the creators of the show. But that didn't even cross my 11-year-old mind. So I just took it as a fact and believed it for months probably before I found out that it actually wasn't the truth. So this is probably the dumbest mistake I ever made while playing Pokemon, or actually any video game, and that's not using a team in my first ever Pokemon game, Pokemon Moon. When I said not using a team, I'm sure a lot of you thought I just beat the entire game only using my starter, like many people did. But that's not actually true, because I never even evolved my Popplio into a Brionne. The reason I never used a team was because whenever I get onto a route, I would just catch a bunch of Pokemon there and form a completely new team. And I have no idea why I did that. Well, part of the reason was that I wanted to complete the living decks, so catching a lot of Pokemon made sense. But I still don't understand why I had to use them on my team. I could have just had a normal team and caught a lot of Pokemon along the way, and then evolve a lot of them when I finished the game. I have no idea why I just didn't use a team, because I already watched the anime and seen a lot of playthroughs, so I understood that you were supposed to use a team. But for some reason, I still don't understand why I didn't do it. Well, the reason is probably I was just a really dumb kid. Owning hacked Pokemon. So as I said earlier, I wanted to complete the living decks, but I didn't start playing main series Pokemon games until 2017. And by then most of the mythical events were over, so there was no way to get most of the mythical Pokemon. So I turned to the dark side. I found those giveaway livestreams on YouTube in which the streamer Wonder trades level 100 shiny perfect IV mythical rare legendary Pokemon. And in order to get them, you have to Wonder trade at the same time they do, and hopefully you'll get their Pokemon. And I spent like dozens of hours on that. And in the end I actually did complete the living decks, but like 15 to 20 Pokemon there were actually hacked. So in the end I actually released them, because I realized owning hacked Pokemon was wrong. So I consider this a mistake, because not only did I own hacked Pokemon, but actually waste dozens of hours of my life on that. Not using non-damaging moves. So this is probably one of the most common mistakes made when starting to play Pokemon, and mostly by kids, because they want to use cool and powerful moves like Earthquake or Flamethrower, and then can't even be bothered to read the effects of non-damaging moves. And I was just like that, because even when I found out how useful these moves can be, I just couldn't be bothered to use them. But only when I went back and played through Gen 4 games and Gen 5 games did I realize, oh, if I don't start using these moves, I'm going to have to grind for like 2 hours before every gym. Losing a full out shiny Moltres. So after I finished my Ultra Sun playthrough, I went to get some shiny Pokemon that weren't hacked. So I went to Ultra Space and caught about a dozen shinies. But those were just shiny variants of regular Pokemon, and not legendaries or Ultra Beasts, and they were very common in the Ultra Space, which made them basically worthless. And I went to get an actual rare shiny Pokemon. So then after a while I found a Moltres, and before encountering it I saved the game and I started shiny hunting for it. And keep in mind I didn't have the shiny charm, because even though I had a complete living dex in my Pokemon Moon, I didn't have Pokebank. So there was no way for me to transfer all those Pokemon over. And even though completing the Pokédex for the Shiny Charm was much easier than completing the Living Dex, especially because you didn't have to get any mythical Pokemon, I still couldn't be bothered to do it. Especially because I was only planning to do this one hunt, and it just wouldn't be worth the effort. And even though I didn't have the Shiny Charm, after just a few hours of shiny hunting, I found a shiny Moltres. So I got his HP down to 1 using False Swipe and started throwing Ultra Balls at it. But after a long while of throwing Ultra Balls, it ran out of PP and struggled itself to death. And I definitely consider that to be my mistake, because even though I did have a lot of bad luck, I still could have stopped that, because there was a few methods shiny hunters use to stop wild shiny Pokemon from struggling with themselves to death. And I could have just bought a bunch of timer balls before starting the hunt. Because if I started throwing timer balls at it after turn 10, I would have had a much higher chance of catching it. And after that I continued hunting it for a few hours, but then I got sick of it and I never shiny hunting again. But while playing Omega Ruby, I didn't find a random shiny wild Celio and I caught it. So in the end I did actually get a full shiny Pokemon, so I completed my goal. Getting type matchups wrong. So I still do this one to this day, because I often think if one type is super effective against the other, then it also must resist the other type. And even though that's often true, it's not always true, and it's hard to remember which types that actually applies to. But when I was younger, I made even dumber mistakes regarding type matchups. And I only remember 2 of them, but I'm sure there was more. The first one is I thought Fire type was super effective on Fairy type. And that's probably following a similar logic from before, because Fire type does resist Fairy type, so I guess I assume it was also super effective on it. And I actually vividly remember when I used a flamethrower on a Clefairy and it was just normally effective, and I was very shocked, and only then did I realize, oh, Fire type is not actually super effective against Fairy type. And the second one is very strange. I thought Fighting type was super effective against itself, and I have no idea why I thought that. And the only reason I could think of is that I maybe used a fighting type move on a Bewear or a Staffel, and I thought they were just pure fighting type and not normal fighting. But even that is pretty strange, and I guess I was just a very dumb kid. Not using stab moves. When I first started playing Pokemon, I had no idea about stab moves. But even when I found out that if a Pokemon uses a move that is the same type as that Pokemon, it will deal 50% more damage, aka it will be stab. I would still often forget about it, and during a battle I would use another move, and only then would I realize, oh, I should have used this other one, because that one would have been stab and would have dealt more damage. But after a while I got used to it and now I always remember it. Believing that Rotom was a legendary Pokemon. Before I played any of my serious games, I watched a lot of playthroughs of them online. And I watched one of some Sinnoh game, I don't remember which one, and I don't remember which YouTuber it was made by. But in one of the episodes they caught a Rotom. And if you didn't know, the only way to catch a Rotom in Gen 4 games was to go to the Old Chateau and get it as a static encounter. And there's a lot of build up to it, and definitely feels like a legendary Pokemon. And that coupled with the fact that it was the last Pokemon before the legendaries in the Sinnoh Pokédex, definitely made a lot of people, including me, think that it's a legendary Pokemon. And that's the list. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe consider liking it, maybe subscribing to my channel and ring the bell button, so you got notified when I upload another video. Also, leave me a comment telling me, you do any of the same mistakes I did. I know getting type matchups wrong or not running any non-damaging moves are pretty common mistakes, so I'm sure at least some of you guys did them. But also, if you have any funny or dumb mistakes of your own, I would love to hear about them. I read all the comments because I love hearing what you guys have to say, and also because I don't get that many of them. And that's all I have to say for now, so I hope I'll see you again and bye!